It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to our special Japanese Cube edition. My name is Bryce and I'm part of the Film Rage crew. And today we've got George from the best little horror house in Philly. Hey, George.
Yeah. Hey.
And we also got Jim and Murray.
Hey.
Yo.
So with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
Oh, baby.
Japanese Cube style.
Japanese Cube style.
Japanese Cube style.
Yes, sushi. Thanks to all who've been supporting us. If you love our independent podcast, please like, subscribe, and share, and give us 5 stars on your listening platform, and support us and join the Film Rage community by joining our membership at buymeacoffee.com/filmrageYYC. If you cannot commit to a membership, you can still buy us a movie rental and dare us to see a terrible film. And you know what? We'll watch it. Now, let's get to raging. But first, here's a word from our sponsor.
Hey, Bryce, what are you doing tonight?
I'm going to my favorite cinema, Canyon Meadows Cinema, to see the best second-run movies at the best price.
What? How inexpensive are they?
Regular price is $5.
Regular price is $5. Makes me hope they also serve pizza.
They do, plus a lot of other great food choices. Plus, I'm planning my office Christmas party there. They can host a plethora of options for any get-together. Gaming, movie, drag show.
Drag show? Now I know where I'm planning my next party.
Hey, maybe you think there's a Liam Neeson or a superhero movie planned?
I hope not. But maybe there'll be a great independent documentary.
Sure. Call CMC at 403-670-5444 to book a special event or go online at canyonmeadowscinema.ca.
Okay, now, the moment we've all been waiting. The moment we heard Japanese Cube was coming. We were so excited.
Bonsai, as they say.
As they say, bonsai! And it was thanks to our buddy George, who is, as everyone knows who listens to our show, he's the honorary 4th member of Film Rage. Hey! So,
What is up, everyone?
Yeah. So how did you hear about Japanese Cube originally coming? Because you hit us with that, I think, the last time we did a recording.
Yeah, it was because I was just researching regular Cube, Canadian Cube, and I was looking into it for our episode together on my show, Best Little Horror House in Philly, and we were doing an episode about Cube 1997 because it's a Canadian classic, and for that week it was the best horror movie ever made. And in my just learning about Cube, I discovered that there was, in fact, in production, a Japanese remake. And I said, wow, Japanese horror movies are often great.
Yes.
Certainly, I think that this is a movie that could benefit from an update in terms of technology and stuff. I think it's a very simple premise that is flexible.
You would think.
You would think. And yet there's been 4 movies and 3 of them have been bad.
Yeah.
So can Japan actually make a better Cube?
We're about to find out.
We're about to find out.
We're about to find out. Well, I did spoil it, unfortunately.
Well, why don't you keep going, buddy? Keep on that bandwagon. Tell us everything you feel and think about Japanese Cube. Or Cube.
Sure.
2021.
Cube. Yeah, Cube 2021. I think that the movie is not bad, but I think that everything about it just feels less than the original. The characters are all completely toned down. In the original one, they are larger than life characters, and it plays really well in the confines of the cube. And in this one, they are all kind of flattened out a little bit, I think. They're all kind of just normal, like normal people who are stuck in this cube.
Yeah.
It's just doing not what I want it to do. I think that what I wanted from an update of this is saying, well, we have a better technology. We can do crazier traps and stuff. And instead, what they did was they said, well, people are into serious movies now. So they just made Cube a little more serious. And that is so far in the opposite direction of what I wanted.
Well, especially with Japanese cinema.
Yeah, they have plenty of off the wall crazy stuff that is a lot of fun. I really expected a lot out of Cube. And maybe that's the problem, is that I expected too much.
Okay, so do you think you were let down? Okay, so what would you give it? What would you give Japanese Cube?
It's really hard because I think that on its own merits, it's not like a bad movie. I think that if I had not seen Cube, that I would probably say this is a mediocre movie that I wouldn't probably revisit, but probably wouldn't be annoyed that I watched it or anything.
So you'd give it a meh.
But I'd give it a meh. I think I'm going to give this a meh. But when you compare that to the Super Mondo that is Cube 1997 for me.
Yep.
It's a soft meh.
Nice. All right. So I will say what I think of Cube 2021, or as we have been calling it, Japanese Cube. Well, it's definitely not Canadian Cube, and you know that even from the very first scene.
Yeah.
I mean, the Japanese.
Oh my gosh, I was.
Because
well, did you know it from the very first scene? Because the very first scene seemed like the same.
No, it didn't.
Why?
No, it's so much worse than the original.
It's so much
I went and
worse.
rewatched
Why
it.
is the whole scene?
Well, the original,
the
original in Canadian Cube actually makes cubes. This one,
yes,
it's actually Japanese Cube.
Cheese wires him.
It's right.
It cheese wires him, and he falls apart in so many little pieces. And in this one, it just pushes out one cube of him. And I really think it really is representative of my issue with the whole movie.
Yes.
That it's like, it's so close to being the same thing, except a little worse.
Well, okay, I'll have a little bit of a debate. We'll hold that till the debate portion. But I would say that part of the reason other than the first person in the film is Japanese, and that isn't in the original, is that they had made him into Japanese sushi. Or in this case, it was more like sashimi because there was no rice. And in the other one...
Just one fleshy cube.
Yeah, one fleshy cube that just was spit out. And the story in Japanese Cube is not as built as a story as I found as the original. Plus, also notice not as many female roles. I thought that was interesting. I mean, no, there was only 2 in the original, but they took one female out to add another male, and the whole... I found all the acting was way over the top and dramatic. Like, it was like, everything was like, even when there were some kill scenes, you'd be like, okay, now pose. And then you're sliced. I'm like, did you have to pose? Could you not have moved? Like, that's how I felt. It was kind of like, he's posing, then he's going to die. So
I think that's a great point about the like taking away a female role is really interesting, especially because the one female role that is still in the movie is still greatly diminished. She barely talks in the entire movie.
There's not even a point for her. We can talk about her a little bit later.
Oh my gosh.
I'm glad though that they didn't make it a period piece. I like the fact that they framed it as a current day, and they were not, although they must have been doing somewhat of an homage to the original. They didn't put it in 1997, which I don't know, maybe would have made it better. I don't know, because I think the CGI from Canadian Cube was actually better.
Yes, I agree.
But that's my opinion. I thought they were going to have a better set design, which they didn't.
I actually didn't mind the set design.
Well, but it's still just the Cube set design, right? So
I mean, how much can you really do, though?
I guess.
The Cube set design.
Yeah, maybe.
I actually thought the cubes were good.
Okay, well, that's your opinion.
But I will...
Yeah, but you're not always right.
That is...
Got his ass.
That is debatable.
That's news to him,
It is.
Sure.
Apparently it's news to him. Yeah, I did like the fact that they used terminologies like IP address and mobiles, and changing the characters to a different era of thinking was not... Like, it... I kind of just want to go off on this movie so badly because there's so much. The film itself took a whole different direction than original Cube. To me, the original Cube was like a social experiment. And it really was a picture of 97 and what was going on around like politics. This, it was very much a story of one guy and his continuous flashback montages.
Oh my God,
And
dude.
I'm like-
This friggin' flashback. Unbelievable.
I'm like, what? Like, first off, nothing in this made any sense. In the original Cube, every character had a point and a reason, and they were thought out even to the points of, as you had pointed out in the original Cube, even their names had meaning. This was absolutely everything not that. It was like the girl's character meant nothing. Like, they didn't even need to have her. Plus,
Wow.
there's a scene in it, and
She's a robot.
the only way that we could see it was that
Isn't she kind of the center of the whole movie, though?
Spoiler.
really. I don't know.
I think so.
I don't think so.
That was the intention.
I don't know, but
But
there
if
was
she got pulled out, would anything have changed? Except that we wouldn't have been like, haha, she's a robot?
yeah, that probably not.
I don't think anything changes. She's
No,
like
nothing.
not in the movie for most of the movie.
No,
No.
she didn't really add anything to it. It was kind of like,
But then you don't get the big twist at the end that we're spoiling right now.
We just
She's a
spoiled for
robot.
everybody.
was there a twist at the end? Because
Yeah, she's a robot.
Okay,
That's it.
that's the twist.
That's
just
the
like
big
not-
reveal.
We kind of thought she was a robot at the beginning of the movie because she was pretty much not interested in it, and her character wasn't interesting enough.
I mean, her first line is, "What are you?"
Yeah, exactly. Right away, we knew she was a robot. It gave it away right at the beginning. Thanks, George.
I also-
sorry, I assumed that the caption they called the not captioning the trick subtitles was screwed up. She actually said that. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, there was some issues with the subtitles too.
there
'cause
was big trouble.
There was, but they like to advertise. That was kind of funny because we saw the YouTube one because we couldn't get it any other way, and they like to advertise who did the subtitles. And I'm thinking, there's a clip in there where we must have missed somewhere that there was rules to the Cube.
Yeah.
Because you remember, did you see it on YouTube too, George?
No, I watched my own copy.
Oh, you own a copy of it now?
Well, yes.
Okay. Yes, I know exactly what you're saying. But in your copy,
I found a copy that just fell in front of my house.
exactly. That's
I may have also found a copy.
that way. Okay, so in the movie then that you guys saw, that Bryce and George saw, was there rules printed somewhere? Because in the middle of the YouTube one,
He just starts explaining
it
stuff.
just has a clip in the middle of it that goes, there are some rules to this cube, blah 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 blah, and then I couldn't capture
What?
it because you can't pause YouTube to read it.
Yeah, it was like a whole page long. It was over top of the actors.
So did you guys get that?
No.
All right. Well then, see, there was apparently rules.
And thanks YouTube for that.
Yeah. Well, maybe thanks YouTube, because we now know there's rules to the cube.
Jim, I have to really agree with you and say that, like, when I was thinking about the original and how, Ren is like a world-renowned prison escape artist.
Yes.
He's escaped like 7 prisons. And like, you're like, oh, this guy maybe could get out of here. And then, you have the fascistic cop who is like a psychopath the entire time. And you have Holloway, who is like, I fucking knew it, that this is like about the military industrial complex and everything.
Conspiracy theorist,
Exactly. And it really does, I think it does have something to say about the way that, like, the military builds these weapons and then has to go, well, shit, we have to use it in order to justify the expense of building it.
Yes.
And, like, there's clearly a parallel that they're drawing between the cube, which they're like, the guy who's part of it and, like, built the outer shell is like, I don't even think that they know why this cube exists anymore. They just put us in it so that they're using it.
Yes.
And that's so interesting. That's such a good
and that
like,
was a
idea.
different movie.
Yes, and but that's, I think that if I kind of get frustrated because I'm thinking to myself, first off, I hate remakes. You guys all know that about me. But if they do a remake, there's very few exceptions. Dawn of the Dead being one of them. But if you're going to remake it, give it proper homage and do it better. Like, could you imagine if Takashi Miike did Japanese Cube? How amazing that would have been?
Yeah,
Like,
I think there's one thing. I think there's one aspect of it that does strike me a little interesting is that it is very much more like about Japanese culture in terms of the element of like the age difference and the like respect that the elder gentleman feels that he deserves, and the entitlement of the younger characters and everything. There's clearly something that is not necessarily directed at us, I think.
North
and
Americans.
so maybe
it was very Japanese.
And it's good
so
point.
maybe I could connect with it more. Like maybe there are people out there who are like, this is a good element to this. This replaces the military complex story stuff.
It can't.
But for me, as someone who's not in that culture, I only have kind of a cursory understanding of it and what they're going for with that. And so to me, I get what they're doing, but it doesn't really grab me in the same way.
And so that opens up a few doors about if that is the case, that's probably why they took a woman out of one of the characters, right? Because there's a thing about Japanese culture too, where not that necessarily women are second class citizens, but that the man is the ruler of the house type of scenario. And it's a little different than what we have here in North America.
But she ruled this house.
But did she?
Yes.
She was non-existent. Quit saying that she was.
I think she really had no influence on this.
Yeah, exactly.
She had ultra influence.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Did she? What impact did she have on this?
She had
what
zero
impact did she have on
She had
Sometimes
zero impact.
the best leaders don't need to say anything.
But I think ultimately the greatest. Okay.
All right, I'm coming around to Bryce's side.
Oh, no way. So ultimately what Japanese Cube does wrong, in my opinion, is that they don't really pay attention to how good the original Cube was. And they didn't
the original
really,
Cube is so good.
And they didn't Japanese-ize it.
It wasn't Japanesey enough.
It wasn't Japanese enough for the Cube that we wanted. If you're going to make... Because usually it's the other way around. The best horror movies come over from Japan, and then they get North Americanized and they get watered down. But they took the amazing Canadian iconic film Cube, and they didn't Japanese it enough.
There you go.
And then they completely changed the whole storyline to make it more of a... Like, I'm still confused as to why the kid in the flashback montages every 5 minutes, I'm like, his character made... None of the characters made any sense. That's my point.
They show the same footage so many times.
Yes.
And that's on top of the fact that I think it is bad Cube to kit to show outside the Cube footage in your Cube movie.
Thank you, George.
Everything should stay in the cube.
The cubikit. I like that.
Yeah, none of the confined feeling of being in the cube transfers over to us when we're every 5 minutes dipping out to check in on the same footage of the kid sitting at the friggin' kitchen table.
Yeah. Or when he's, I'm falling off the cliff of my building. I'm falling off. And it's like when by the third flashback montage, I was like, okay, I'm done. Yeah. No. So ultimately, if I had never seen the original Cube and I saw this Japanese Cube, I still would have given it a rage.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. There wasn't enough good of anything in it that I liked enough.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh man, am I allowed to change my answer?
Of course you can.
I think I want to come down to a rage on.
Attaboy, you're being kind. See, George, you forgot on Film Rage, we aren't kind. Except Murray. And you know what? Murray was kind for too many years, and now guess what? Even Murray is giving out rages like candy.
He's worn me down.
He's throwing out rages like candy.
Taking away my positivity.
That's right.
The thing is that I really wanted to like this movie.
So
I wanted to like it so bad.
That's how I felt about Morbius.
I even just like thinking about in the original one. Like I went back and watched a bunch of the original one again as well.
I did both of them today too.
Even just a little bit of them being like taking a moment to stop and go like, hey, we don't have any food or water. Like we should think about that. That's never discussed in this. They never are like, they're not like, wow, we've been in here for a really long time. I'm starting to get thirsty.
Yeah.
It's just not talked about at all.
And
it's still really long. It's still an hour 45.
Yes, and they could have been drinking their own urine.
Sure.
Right?
Sure. Maybe they just didn't want to show us that.
Well,
but damn it, we deserve to know.
That's right. That's another reason this movie isn't great. All right. Well, Murray, give us a little bit of juice from the Merman.
It's short and sweet. As you guys may remember, I wasn't really that fond of the first one. I mean,
what?
It was okay.
I remember.
Murray.
It was okay. I mean, I'm not a big horror movie.
It had
anyway,
some of your favorite Canadian iconic actors.
A couple in there. But yeah, at least the Canadian version, it was exciting and it was a fun surprise. This remake is totally redundant. It has nothing good or new to the original one. It's in pretty much every aspect it's inferior, except for maybe more drama and more math. Yeah.
Although that is kind of a Japanese.
No, it totally is, but it's like, I don't care how they got to the conclusion. I'm like, dividing and multiplying numbers to figure out which is a safe room. I don't really care.
They do a big breakdown of it.
Oh, I know. It was way too boring. It's like, I wanted more gore. I wanted more body limbs sliced off.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, you and me both, brother.
Didn't really happen, did it?
Yep. So
it's total rage.
Your satiation for human blood did not happen.
Was it supposed to be a horror movie, or was it like a think piece?
I think, look, IMDb calls it, here we go.
Who cares?
It's a horror, mystery, sci-fi, thriller.
It was a horror, sci-fi thriller.
And it's a family favorite because they even had a CLF in it.
Because there's a kid in there. Yeah.
Wow.
Creepy little fucker. That's what he was.
That's right.
All right, so that's three. So let me just recount here. So far, that's 3 rages.
Well, that was a man. Then it got turned into a rage because you were so convincing, Jim.
You know what? I still have another 10 minutes I could talk about things I want to rage about, which we'll still add some more. Okay, let's hear what you had to say, Bryce. Let's talk about the person you thought was the most powerful character in this film, the one female robot.
She was good. I liked her. She was the highlight of the film.
How can you tell? She was not in it.
She wasn't really. Yeah.
She led with her eyes.
Okay.
So you guys weren't paying attention to her eyes, and that's where you missed it.
Well, the eyes may lie, but the nose knows.
So I mean,
the eyes have it.
There is no denying the Japanese Cube was disappointed.
Disappointed? They were disappointed.
Disappointing. I hate remakes to begin with, but I thought 24 years later, with advancements in special effects and a little Japanese mayhem, this just might be the exception. Sadly, it wasn't. Subtle differences in characters, but less interesting, did not warrant this being made again. The special effects were really not good. Not good. The cubes themselves, I thought actually looked pretty cool, but cool looking cubes does not make a good movie. I really wanted to like this, but I couldn't even get through it in one sitting. I fell asleep at about the 40-minute mark, and I had to watch the rest the next day. The fact that we are devoting a special episode solely to this film makes me want to apologize to our listeners. And it's not because and honestly, I don't need to apologize as much because I thought this was going to be like Mez across the board. Because as long as we're raging about it, it's actually semi-entertaining. But I didn't even think this was worth raging about. This wasn't Mondo. It wasn't a rage. It was just an uninspired waste of time and a low man.
What are you talking? Okay, come on. What redeeming quality? Okay, your whole discussion about what you just said, the only thing that was redeeming was the fucking cube itself.
I have to I'm going to separate myself from seeing the original cube.
I did too. What character did you like? Was there any characters that were likable? None.
In a way, the soft meh is more insulting than a rage.
It is a little insulting.
Hey, I liked Asako Kai. I thought she was tremendous.
Here, I will also say I did like the music. I thought the music was pretty fun.
Music was good. The music was pretty
jangly robot tunes.
Was pretty okay. Okay, so we got pretty okay music. We have 0 character development, 0 story.
I hated
0 logic.
I thought he was
zero attention to detail in any of the horror. What we did get was extra math.
We got
extra boring, extra overacting, extra terrible dialogue, and the stupidest ending of any cube ever made.
Anne Watanabe never overacted at all.
Because she was only
her performance as a Sako
she
Kai
was like maybe 1.5 minutes of screen time.
I know, it was great.
What is wrong with you?
I'm curious what you guys think about like the new traps, because there are like
they were all
like
terrible.
some of the ideas. I was like, maybe this could have been something. Like the laser idea, I was like, this could have been something.
But that made no sense.
But
like the one guy was standing. Okay, do you not understand the function of how a laser works?
Why were
the
they
one
all
guy
protecting
stands
each other?
in front of the other one guy stands in front of
It would have
him.
gone through
I'm
for
going to
sure,
protect
yeah.
you from this laser.
laser, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes. Again, Bryce, please tell me that you're not giving this a low meh because of one woman who was in the movie for 1.5 minutes was okay.
You know, it was all right.
Wow. The telescoping spear is also impossible. That kind of annoyed me when it like comes through the second floor. It's
Yes.
like that's not how the traps are supposed to work.
And
It's
that's
supposed
the
to
thing. The traps were a lot of the traps were dumb, and that just made it a little better.
No, how can you say?
I think
You're watching it from the wrong perspective.
No, I was trying
there
really
is an element of laughability, I think, to
Yes.
being like, why is this happening? Like, I will like at the very, very end. Look, when it's revealed that she's a robot, I cackled. I
How
laughed
could you
really
not?
hard.
She's the best
It's,
part of
like,
the film
very
because
funny.
it's hilarious.
It's okay, so
It's like they wrote a movie and nothing really made that much sense, and they said, you know what? Let's just make her a robot at the end of this. And they said, that's a good idea.
again, Japan holds the most number of robots of any other country, so it doesn't surprise me that there was a robot.
Yeah, it was great.
No,
I was smiling.
Well, it was. Look, they knew to end on a strong foot by making her a robot.
no, the ending was completely awful.
Which made it great.
No, it.
I might be going the other way on this. Maybe this wasn't.
I also like they just send the kid out into the world.
I know, and it made no sense. It was awesome.
He walks away. He's like, well,
He's like-
all right,
she's
bye
like-
then.
She
See
just
ya.
gives him a little
Okay.
smile, and he walks away, and he turns
ya.
back, and
See you later.
it's like, yeah.
He doesn't question why she's
No.
staying there or anything. He's just like, well, I guess you're a robot.
No.
If they had fried the kid, then maybe it would have actually been a little more entertaining.
Well, I was
No.
hoping they were going to get to a room where they had to eat the kid.
No.
That's what I was hoping. It was like, you know what? We haven't ate or drank. Let's
Vat
first
of lava or something.
drink his urine
As
and
we're
then let's eat
talking,
him.
I just didn't even realize how much I enjoyed this. But now that we're talking about it, it's pretty good.
You know what?
I enjoyed specifically the last 2 minutes of this movie.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that was like the worst.
Hey,
2
if you
minutes
can
for
end
me.
strong, that can make up for a lot
that
of
was a strong
bad.
ending, was it?
Oh yeah.
See, George, this is what I have to put up with him. Or we have to put up with him. Is that
He's bringing me back to a soft mess.
George just does give out a lot of mess, though. I have to admit, he did. He's a little kind. He's a little too kind.
No, I'm gonna stay in rage. I think this movie is pretty bad,
It's
but I do
really
think that the
awful.
ending is fun.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Well, let's move into.
You're all glad you saw it.
All right. Well, you know what time it is, Murray.
Well, it just reinforces my love for Real Cube.
That's true.
Temperature rising. Vision blurring. Rage taking over.
Switching it up this week.
Yes.
Bryce man.
Yeah, how come I'm going first? What's
I
this
don't
about?
know.
I never go first.
I know.
Apparently, it's an order of importance. I
It's
guess.
in
I guess
order
you-
of
I
least
guess-
importance,
I guess
this
you-
one.
You have the most rage, I guess.
I thought he would have the most rage.
Well, you
That's
know
why I
what?
put him on the top of the heap.
My rage is not going to fit my rating of the film because my rage is obviously. If you're gonna make a cube movie meh, then why did you remake it?
Great point.
My rage is Japanese cube because it was meh.
Okay, then.
That's it. I'm done.
Okay.
Alright.
Well, Because you're the
Easy
only
peasy.
idiot here who gave it a math, then you can have that. Murray, what was your biggest rage this week?
Well, pretty much the same. Unnecessary remakes. Not just in horror films, but in general. Like movies or TV shows I beloved as a child, aka recent Sonic, just not necessary. Like, why did they remake this?
Yes.
Like,
They could have just
and if they're gonna remake
put
it,
subtitles on the original.
then make it better, make it gorier, make it scarier or something. But no, what did they
Was
do?
this rated R? Was this even?
I don't know.
Oh, wait a minute.
It was
Let's
on
find
YouTube,
out.
Who knows?
I don't think it had a rating.
It's unrated because it's unwatchable.
Unrateable.
Wow.
It's really unwatchable.
Anyway, yeah, that's all I got. It's unnecessary remakes. That's a rage.
Okay, well, I had.
But if you are going to make an unnecessary remake, put a robot in the end of it.
Yeah.
Great point.
Robots are always better.
My rage, other than Putin, of course, is I was gonna pick a whole other line of attack on this movie, but now I've completely changed my rage this week is actually Bryce, because the fact that he could find enough joy in this terrible, awful and it's not even, I'm not calling it a remake, I'm calling it a Japanese reboot.
Okay.
Because I now anticipate there's going to be a 2, because the ending was like a cliffhanger.
It was.
It was a cliffhanger, people. So if you haven't seen Japanese Cube or Cube 2021, please note that I am raging at Bryce because his rating system is the stupidest rating system on the planet. And that's my rage this week.
Excellent.
George?
Pretty good one.
Yes. George?
My rage is the state of booking in this area. You know, I recently went to go see 2 very, very good movies, and they were Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is very good.
So good.
And Triple R, which is a Telugu South Indian action movie that is truly. I've never seen anything like it.
Really?
It's incredible. It's phenomenal.
Because it's playing here, and I've been.
Where?
I believe I saw it.
You
it's
gotta
playing
go.
here.
When?
Okay, we're going.
You gotta go. It's
go
so
this
amazing.
weekend.
Yeah, we'll review it next week.
Great. I was literally the only person in the screening, and I was hooting and hollering like a damn fool.
All
This
right.
movie's amazing. But I digress. My point is that I went and saw these movies, and I loved them, and I've been telling everyone to go see it, and everyone is like, these movies aren't playing anywhere near me. It's just Spider-Man in its 5th month, and Morbius, and Sonic 2, and God damn it, I want people to watch these great movies.
You know, that your rage, George, has been our rage for so many years. Yeah. And it's funny because here we thought we live in our little bubble of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And we think, George lives in the big city of Philadelphia.
So he must be able to go to
every movie and every cinema. What's the population of Philly?
Oh, I don't even know. I'm really bad with that kind of thing, even estimating.
Okay, well, it's probably bigger than 1.5 million, which is us.
I think it's
Let's
2
see.
billion people.
That
2
sounds
billion
right.
people. Just a little smaller than China is the size of Philly.
Yes.
Philadelphia population, let's see, 1.579 million. So not that much bigger.
So you're about the same size as us, but you probably have a greater
Comparable.
Philly area that's probably another 5 million.
Yeah.
It's kind of be like a U.S. cities. But that was a big complaint for us. But we now actually have another art house cinema reopened.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, although Murray's boycotting it, but but Bryce and I aren't yet. So we're kind of lucky. We'll get that kind of film. But you said RRR. You actually
Triple R. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You
It's
actually
amazing.
got to see it in cinemas, or you didn't?
You did.
Yes, I did go see it. So I actually do have a lot of
Loved it.
good opportunities in Philadelphia to go see movies, but my problem is then telling other people who maybe don't live in a city like Philadelphia, I'm like, you should go see this movie, and then they're like, I can't. It's like 50 miles away.
We've got 5 theaters. 4 of them are playing Spider-Man, and the other one's playing Morbius.
Yep.
Right, exactly. It's very frustrating, and boy, I mean, if everyone in the sound of my voice should go see Triple R. It is incredible. It's what
Done.
blockbuster filmmaking should be.
I'm within the sound of your voice, and I am buying my ticket as we speak.
I'm
Well, not
living
love it,
inside
love it.
your
but
voice.
I will be seeing it this weekend.
I'm now
Great.
living
I'm
there.
really stoked for you to see it.
Well, you'll get to hear our review next week because we're
Right.
going to watch it this weekend. Oh, sweet rage.
Rage subsiding. Pulse slowing. Anger fading.
Well, we have a special honorary fourth member of Film Rage lists, which we've talked about. Actually, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago because we were reviewing our Mesmerized list in particular. And we had a big fight back a few months ago where we all decided we were going to have one person that we chose that would be mesmerized for life and they could not be removed from our list. And Bryce picked Wanda Sykes. Murray picked,
Russell Crowe.
and I picked Sean Penn. So they can never be removed from our list. But otherwise, everybody's having a walking off right now.
Yeah.
All
Just so you
walking
know.
off the
Because we
list.
just re-added Christopher Walken back on the Mesmerized list because he was removed because I saw 9 Lives, which happened to be the worst movie I'd ever seen. But then I saw a movie that was worse than it, so he got back on, which is why I'm trying to get Bryce to rewatch The Life of David Gale so we can get Kevin Spacey back onto the Mesmerized
Life of David
list.
Gale is garbage.
I don't think it's as bad
It
as
is
some
the
of the movies.
worst movie that's
It's not
ever
as
been made.
It's not as bad as Japanese Cube. I can tell you that.
It's way,
come on.
worse.
It's terrible. It's not as terrible. So George had a chance to review our. Actually, he reviewed our whole list page. First off,
That's
before
right,
you
I certainly did.
tell us who you want to keep on the Mesmerized list. Tell us what you thought of the page that's been updated.
Yeah,
recently.
I think it looks great. I had a lot of fun poking through, and I was like, "This is a big honor," and so I wanted to put proper diligence into it. I didn't want to just say, "Oh, let me sit on my laurels and say, yeah, Nick Cage is who I picked, so just put him in forever." He doesn't need my help. I think
There you go.
he's mesmerizing.
And that's the
Yeah.
point. You want to pick that
That
person
one.
that may not,
Yeah.
you want them there forever.
And part
Yeah.
of the reason Bryce had to save Wanda Sykes is at the time Murray was humming and hawing whether she was mesmerizing enough for him. So he had to save
So
her.
I am tied to Wanda Sykes for
But-
life,
Yes.
and I am okay with that.
My point was, I enjoy her comedy. I just don't really like her movies.
But you know who we lost because of Murray, just so you know, is Aquafina.
we did.
Wow. I think I would go with Wanda Sykes over Aquafina.
And that's what happened.
That's what happened.
Yeah,
All right. So the moment we've
yeah.
all been waiting.
that's right. My choice is Veronica Cartwright.
Wow, that's awesome.
Nice.
I was just thinking about her the other day. That is a great choice.
I love Veronica Cartwright. I think
As do we.
she's so great.
Yes.
And here's the thing. I know you specifically were like, it's tough to have two people on the Mesmerized list when they're in the same movie together.
Yeah.
Because surely only one of them can be mesmerizing at the same time.
Yep.
And she goes toe to toe with Jeff Goldblum
Yeah.
in Body Snatchers.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot. Look, Jeff Goldblum is incredible. He deserves to be on that Mesmerized list. But I think in Body Snatchers, in the movie that they're both in, that she is more mesmerizing than he
As
is.
do I. She was brilliant in that film. And I
She's
don't.
absolutely fantastic. She's a tour de force in Witches of Eastwick. I mean,
Yes.
that movie,
Oh,
she's
yeah.
so great.
And in Alien.
Aliens,
Oh yeah.
incredible. She's even worked with Hitchcock. And
Yeah.
not only was she a tolerable child actor, which
Yep.
is difficult enough,
Yep.
but she's really good in The Birds. She
Yeah.
is mesmerizing in everything she's in. She's fantastic. I love her. Veronica Cartwright, you're safe forever.
Oh,
All right then.
well played. Well played. Well, Veronica Cartwright, you are now fully starred from our honorary fourth member.
Mesmerized for life.
Hers.
It's a thing. Buddy, I could not be happier about that. I am so happy. Well,
Oh,
this
yeah,
is
she deserves it. She's
this-
great.
This has been like, you know what? We should have an episode with George every week. That's If we had more time in our life, we would. This has been so
Just a
much
little
fun.
check-in.
This has been so much fun, buddy.
Yeah, man. It's always a fun to chop it up with the boys.
Yep, get some rage on. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you everywhere?
Yeah, you can find me at the Best Little Horror House in Philly. It's the show where we talk about the best horror movie ever made, according to our guest at least. It's a lot of fun. The Film Rage guys have been on twice, like we said, to talk about Cube. So and also talk about Let the Right One In. So 2 amazing movies. And if you'd like to hear us have a better time talking about a Cube movie, I certainly encourage you to go check out our episode together over there. On social media, on Little Horror PHL, you can find that pretty much everywhere. And look forward to our first live episode is coming out. We just recorded live at the Philadelphia Comic-Con the other day, and it was incredible. It was a lot of fun. We talked about Army of Darkness, and that episode is coming up, so we're very excited about it. So keep an eye out for that.
Nice.
I am super pumped. Now we're here. You're going to hear George again in this fantastic promo.
Hi, everybody. I'm George, the host of the Best Little Horror House in Philly. It's the show where we talk about the best horror movie ever made, according to our guest at least. And because of that, I figured I'd let the guests themselves tell you a little more about the show. Here's Betsy Sidaro.
I'm sorry, it's just too loud.
Mike Mitchell.
There's a lot of like ding 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 ding.
Neil Campbell.
Oh God, this guy was like afraid to use a knife. It's gonna, do something brave at the end of Cowboys versus Aliens or something, whatever.
And Mike Hanford.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good, George.
So there you go. Some insightful and relevant commentary on why you should be listening to the Best Little Horror House in Philly. And I'll see you boils and ghouls wherever you podcast. Bye.
Boils and ghouls.
Boils and ghouls.
Thanks, buddy. We are always happy when you're here. Thanks, Ragers, for listening. Thanks to the Extended Film Rage family, who you can find in our show notes. Find us on social media everywhere at Film Rage YYC. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageYYC.com, including our merch site for Redbubble and TeePublic. And there's a sale on, so get your shit for grandma. We are always wanting to make this a raging blast for our listeners, so please comment, like, and subscribe, and send us an email to filmragecalgary@gmail.com. Dare us to see a terrible movie to fuel our rage, but no matter what you do, please make us rage. Please, 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 please. Pretty please, 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 please. That's it for this special episode. Rage on.
Rage on.
Rage on.